What up, world? DJ on the mic, you know what it is. Give me that Armored Rush deck goodness, because I feel like I've been gone for a minute. Did do a previous video on my Magna X profile, and I applied some changes. This actually placed 4th in my store championships. Technically, should have kind of got 2nd, but I got down bad on the 3rd match because I only lost 1 game, and that was actually an armor mirror. So in this video, I'm going to break down ratios, my changes that I did. I'm going to try and just skim through it. I know my boy Corey is saying that my videos are too long, so I'm going to try and speed it up, boy. I'm going to try and speed it up, and you better be watching. Otherwise, I'm going to come to your workplace in the freezer and give you a... But all jokes aside, if this is the video for you, then stick around and enjoy. And if you're new to the channel, then make sure you subscribe to that notification bells, because I do videos on the reg. Let's get to that 300 subscriber mark. Let's do it. Straight into it. So we're going in with the Upera standard. It's pretty much no change. Obviously you want to be getting that draw, especially with this particular deck, because it is a combo deck. So pieces are ideal, and just utilizing the opposition's board state of, you know, them throwing down a card without no sources means that you can comfortably draw 1. So really powerful deck, and I only run 4. That's all you need. So do you remember when I said run this at 3, yeah baby? Yeah, I was wrong. I was so wrong. Run this at 4, because it's never a sad day seeing your jamming V coming into your hand. And the ideal play, like first turn play, is this Vmon in raising and then throw a Vmon out. And if they've not got an answer to it, you're getting those 2 swings early on, which adds immense pressure. And then if you have a Magnamon X to end that turn, blam, put that on, and it really just adds a lot of tempo in your favor. So run that at 4, no less. Then you want to be running the BT8 Vmon, because it's going to be a primary searcher for any dual color card in your deck, especially for your Magnamon X, because the other searcher, the starter deck version, does not search out your Magnamon X. So this is definitely crucial. This is definitely good for getting your Megadeths, which are ideal, especially in this particular deck build, because Megadeth can ruin a big stack's day for sure. So you want to be running this bad boy at 4, definitely. Then for the cheeky 2-ofs, your EX1 Vmon, which grants you memory when you unsuspend. Really good to kind of reduce those costs on your Magnamon, and also your Magnamon X. If you do have Davison Ken out, unsuspending, just reducing that cost is just perfect. So ideally, you know, if you do get this in your first turn, it's really good cards actually having raising, because like I say, there is a lot of unsuspending, and just reducing that cost is just pretty good for your combos to kind of pan out. Then we go in with your starter deck 8 Vmon, which is really good for early game if you want to kind of get your pieces quicker. Team tag that up with your Upamon. You're going to be drawing 2 cards depending obviously on the board state right there. You don't really focus on its kind of, when it's on the field, warp into a level 6. That we don't run all force Vmon, so definitely not an issue there. You're just playing it more for the inevitable, and this is not once per turn, guys, so you can really get a lot of draw off this, especially because, you know, we are going to be unsuspending, we are going to be multi-attacking. So really good card right here. Run that at 2. And then lastly, finishing up the rookie lineup, is going to be your starter deck 9 Vmon. This is just good for kind of getting your free types, which is pretty much majority of the deck. The only non-free type Digimon we've got is Magnamon X, and you're able to obviously reveal top 3, which is just great, and just add 1 card from amongst them. So really good card, good for your searching pieces, especially if you kind of not got your rookies, your ideal rookies. You can search those out and really, you know, get on with your gameplay. So going on to the champions. The champions have had a bit of a reshuffle right here. Let me just get the stats up, because in terms of the actual lineup, we do run 15 rookies, because I felt like 14 I was bricking and I'd rather not brick. When armors brick, it bricks hard and it's awful. We just want to kind of mitigate that if we can. So standard 1 Lobo for game, as I like to call it, drip for game. It just comes up and it's always a good finisher. 9 times out of 10 though, this deck's kind of got it covered in terms of its finish, just because if it's unsuspending, but you know, a nice Lobo for game is always nice. Then we do run the 4 Lydramon. Cannot wait to go to regionals and get the actual alternate art version of this because it'll be sick. I feel like this is still a great card, especially tag teaming up with your Davis and Ken, especially to just kind of bank that memory and kind of set up those core plays, especially if you do have a Davis out as well. You guarantee getting like 5 memory if you have even just 1 Davis and Ken out along with Davis, which is just sweet. Also, you're able to suspend the opposition's Pokemon, Digimon, which is just handy, just clearing board. Like I say, Mastermon is still a thing, and you do need to kind of get rid of their board state before they get out of control. So Lydramon definitely just helps with that, and I feel like you still need to run that at 4. Originally, I did run Flamedramon at 4, but I've actually reduced it to 3, and I've increased the rookie count. This Digimon's not really that core in terms of, it's a must at 4, but it's great for that nice early aggression, especially just stacking up that DP of 3000 that it gains when attacking. This is not once per turn, which is sweet. Obviously, Armor Purge is standard, keeps you protected. Really powerful card, but I don't feel like you need to run this at 4 so much anymore. You're comfortable at running that at 3. And then for running your main chest pieces, it's going to be your Magnamon. This you definitely want to be running at 4 for sure. Blocker, beautiful. Obviously Evo on top of Vmon for free, really cost efficient right there. If you do obviously have the EX1 Vmon, like if you've already swung, you've Armor Purge, and you Evo into this has reduced that cost then to 2, which is really offensive for this Digimon. And as well, you get obviously getting those buffs when Digivolving. You do get an additional 2k per armor in your trash. Very powerful card right here, especially if you tag that up with your Magnamon X. You can make Magnamon X a really powerful threat to get off the board. Ideally, you just need to kind of bounce it. So really powerful card. Magnamon is definitely the way to go, and you need to be running that 4. So in terms of the level 5s, I've actually put some level 5s in, because what I found is when you're kind of going into Magnamon X, you kind of really dependent on either having your Magnamon or having the option card. So you just need a bit of glue just to kind of bridge up there. And I feel like Shakumon is such a slept on card because it enables you to recover. And with my deck build, I'm kind of more focusing on the recover game that it's capable of doing. Effectively, you can recover up to 2 cards, which is a game changer. That can put you really back in the game, especially for those kind of long drawn out games where Arm Rush is not really great in terms of your mid-range to late game, but this actually makes, well, this overall build actually kind of makes it quite strong in terms of your mid-game, which is just great. So Shakumon, if you Evo this from a level 4, it does cost you 4, but you are able to recover 1, which is great if you don't have 5 or more, if you don't have, like, say, 6 cards in your security. So this is fantastic. Also, you can DNA, and we do obviously have Magnamon. We do have yellow sources that we can kind of, utilize that DNA functionality, which is sweet. And you're able to essentially bounce a Digimon at the same equivalent or less of your security stack. And this actually helped me get rid of Magna X in my final round, because I was able to essentially recover, go over the threshold, and then bounce that bad boy back, because I had six cards in the security, which was just really good. This is a fantastic card. Then let's not sleep on the inheritable. If you do go into your Magnamon X on, once you've kind of got this card on the field, then Magnamon X then has got this inheritable, is that when your opponent's Digimon, well, when attacking, your opponent gets minus 3k DP, which is just great. It means that effectively now Magnamon X can get rid of big threats on the field if he doesn't choose to essentially negate the attack, which is good. It gives you a lot of options right there. One thing obviously we do need to know is that when you do use Magnamon's effects, and if you've evoed from Shakuyamon, just be careful that, Shakumon has kind of not got the, well, not kind of, definitely has not got the armor purge ability, so you could lose a lot of value if you do kind of get swung into. So ideally, the thing I like to do is kind of swing with my level 4, then Evo, but use my Davis and Ken to restand this bad boy, so it can't really get targeted by, just getting attacked into, and then Evo into Magnamon X, then you're pretty much comfy right there. So really powerful card. Run that at 2, really nice. It's searchable. it's just a really good bridge. You can run Chimeramon. Chimeramon is definitely not a bad option whatsoever, but I'm all about that consistency, and able to kind of grab my pieces, or at least have the option to grab my pieces, is more of a benefit for me, especially with in this format where we don't really have, you know, essentially any mulligans or anything. Consistency is even more important. So your main boss monster is going to be your Magnamon X. Really powerful card. It can just stop so much aggression. Obviously, one of the things is that, you know, bouncing is definitely a thing. Wargreymon X can kind of work around this as well, which is, yeah, there's those kind of matches where it's not completely, you know, the Omni being that it is, but it is still a very strong card right here. So Digivolve it, you can Digivolve it off Magnamon for cost of 4, which is good. You can use the option card to basically get into this for a cost of 3, or you can Digivolve off of Shakumon for the cost of 3. So very good ways to kind of get into it. This deck has got that versatility that you can actually get into this and not feel like you're bound by Magnamon. And then you're able to just negate attacks, and this is not once per turn. And then if it was going to be deleted, you can avoid deletion and put it in your security. So tag team that up with your Shakumon. Shakumon's already recovered, and then if you negate the attack, then this is going to recover. So technically, you recover 2 in essence, which can really put you back in the game. And if they can't swing over that 11k threshold, then, you know, they're just kind of sacking off the body at that point. So really, really strong card. Definitely run that at 4, no less. So in terms of the options are a little bit different. So Ice Wall standard, you know, Ice Wall is Ice Wall, stops the aggression. Kind of has the Hammer Spark, gain 2 memory if it's propped off in security. Really, really strong card. You always run that. You always run that. It's just a very powerful card. Then we do run the free blue memory boost. This is just, I didn't think I would not have Hammer Spark in this build, but Blue Memory Boost is just really strong. It's actually really strong. Just helping with that consistency, banking up memory, propped off security, you gain 2 memory when you want to use it. It's just really helpful. And yeah, I'm a strong believer of running that at 3 and not having any Hammer Spark. I don't think you need Hammer Spark, especially in this build. I didn't necessarily feel like at a point like, oh god, if I only had a Hammer Spark, I could win game. This just really came clutch in most of my games. So consistency is key. When I did regionals last time, yeah, Blue Memory Boost just really helps in just getting like out of an Umbric situation. Definitely crucial. Megadeth 4. This card just cracked in this format, just really ruins a lot of plays. Cost efficient, which you love. The only bad side is that you definitely need to have at least a Elijahmon or your Davison Ken establishment on the field, just in order for you to kind of use this when you need to. 9 times out of 10, because the ratios are running the Tamers, we do have that, you know, that kind of usability with this card. So definitely perfect as well, because we are more recovering in this build. We are increasing the chances of actually putting Megadeth into security if it wasn't already there, which is just really, really good. It really ruins days, and this is where this deck kind of shines. This particular build is that, you know, you are utilizing your security to kind of stay in the game longer and ruin days, and then you can just go in with your aggression with your Tamer cards, and also your old Fire Rocket, which I'm running at 2, which I never feel like I needed to have 3. I've only when I wish I had an additional Fire Rocket is when I actually was versing the mirror, and I think that's why I lost overall, is that my opposition Ash did have more Fire Rockets, and he utilized that better than I did, and I just didn't have the Fire Rockets at the right time. So regardless of that, I still feel like 2 in this build works okay. You can flex it if you want to, definitely not a problem. But I do like having 2. Obviously, you know, just deleting a blocker on security is actually pretty decent in this format due to Malgarex. It can actually stop that, and obviously in the mirror, that can actually come up there as well. And then obviously for your early turn aggression, as long as you have a armor form on the field, you are able to use this card, obviously ignoring its color requirements, or if you do have Flames Run, you can use it regardless. But one thing that you can't do if you only have Magnamon X on the field, you cannot use this card. Magnamon X is not an armored Digimon, so you can't apply it if it's just solo by itself. If you do have an armored Digimon, then you can apply it onto your Magnamon X. So just be careful on that. Don't want any DQs on the battlefield. So then we run 2 of the Awakening of the Golden Knight. Really strong card right here. The only reason why I added Shikuyamon in is because you can actually bottom deck this, because it's not a dual color card. If this was blue and yellow, this would be sweet. I could be able to search this out, grab it, jobs are good in, but you know, it's all about that balancing. But this card just enables you to Digivolve off any armor Digimon that you have out on the field for the cost of 3, which is sweet, and then it can't be DP reduced, which is also great when you are versing off against like security control that have a lot of DP minusing effects. Really strong card. On top of that, the security effect enables you to return 1 card with Magnamon in its name to your hand, and also get this card to your hand. So you're pretty much secured going into a form of Magnamon on your next turn, which is sweet. As well, obviously you can then get some more recovery and get back in the game. So really great recovery card, very powerful. Do run that too. Feel like if you run it free, it can be a little bit bricky in your hand, but it's always nice when you do see it come off of a draw. So Tamers pretty much self-explanatory. So run the 2 Davison, or run 2 Davis, which is just sweet. Memory set, banging, consistency, reveal top 3, able to add a card with blue and green from amongst them, and then put the rest in the trash. So ideal worth would be obviously getting a Lydramon and then getting any form of other blue card, well, blue Digimon card, which is just great. Really strong, powerful worth. So definitely run that too. And then probably one of the most cracked cards here with such utility in this deck is going to be your Davison Ken, which just obviously you're able to just bank memory depending on what your color sources are. So if you do have a blue Digimon, you gain a memory. If you have a green Digimon, you gain a memory. If you have both, you gain 2 memory, which is sweet. Obviously, you're going to be you're going to be recovering. You're going to be setting up your Lydramon in raising. You're banging this out. You are showing that whatever they're going to throw you on. So if they put you on 1, you're going to go back up to 3 anyway. If they put you on more, then you just getting the absolute worth right there. But the main thing with this is the unsuspending with 2 colors is so strong in this deck, because it means that you can be hyper aggressive but then be somewhat reserved again. So you can swing in with your armors, and then if you have Shikumon, you can unsuspend this, evo into Shikumon, restand, recover 1, which is just glorious, and then go into your Magnamon X. So you can take a hit. If Magnamon X happens to get swung over, recover that 1 there as well, and means that Shikumon can't be targeted unless it's by some form of option, or, you know, if a Digimon has an inheritable that can attack unsuspended. So this is really strong. Really do like this. Really adds a lot of aggression to this deck, and this is why I feel like you don't necessarily need so much Fire Rocket, because this effectively kind of does what Fire Rocket does. So this is the reason why I do run that at 3. So guys, that's your boy done. What do you think of the deck profile? I really do like it. Really fun. Probably one of my favorite builds that I've done. I'm really happy that I'm actually starting to utilize the Shikumon. I didn't really utilize it in the previous BT, but I feel like in this one it's really strong if you're trying to capitalize out on the recovery aspect of what this deck can do. Magnamon, I feel like Magnamon's just, like, before it was alright. I'm not saying it was bad. You know, I did focus more on essentially my Flames one doing the work, but I feel like Magnamon now is definitely putting in that work, really helping out, and really just a solid card, especially going into my good old Magnamon X Antibody, which the alternate art is growing on me, guys. It's growing on me. At first I was like, I don't really like the look of it, but when you get it in real life, it's a really stunning card, and it's so nice putting this out on the field and going with that flex. It's just a really beautiful card, and what it does, it's just a very strong card to behold and should be slept on right there. But guys, have an awesome day, stay safe, let's get to 300 subs, and I'll catch you in the next one. DigiDread off the mic.